Hello everyone, my name is Leonardo. I'm a PhD student at Virginia Tech, and today I'm here to talk about our submission to the 3DUI contest, which is called Sensory Overload. This work was advised by Professors Wallace Lages and Doug Bowman. So, sensory overload is this idea of this distortion in the perception of sensory information. It can manifest in terms of hypersensitivities and hyposensitivities. So for instance, lights can be perceived as uncomfortably bright and irregular, while sounds can be too loud and distorted. Sometimes there are specific sounds that you hear them too loud, and other sounds such as voices that you hear them too low and you cannot understand what they're saying. This usually manifests in mental disabilities, such as in people with autism spectrum disorders, or PTSD, or schizophrenia. This overload can lead the person to discomfort, difficulty in focusing because there's too much going around them, and even meltdowns. So what we propose here is empathy through embodiment. So we designed this immersive narrative inside a virtual environment where we let the general population experience how it is to be surrounded by all this sensory overload happening. We explored the idea of contrasting points of view, so the difference between the person who experienced and the person who doesn't experience the issue. And we also explore some strategies for mitigation, coping with this difference. How do you learn to live with that and live a normal life? So our motivation here basically is to raise the understanding and empathy of the general public towards the condition, while also providing some space for reflection on universal design. So how can we design things differently in order for these people to be able to use them? So task and narrative. Our story is very simple, very straightforward. We have a character who needs to leave his house and go to a job interview. It's a very mundane task, quick task, less than 2 minutes to accomplish it. So basically, we start the experience with the player inside his house, so it's a very comfortable place when they enter the experience. But then the player starts getting notifications and asking him to go outside and meet his taxi driver, who is going to take them to the interview. But then as he steps outside to meet the driver, we focus then in creating all these stimuli to show how this person would perceive the environment. So the sensory overload is basically we digitally altered the mapping of the stimuli that we present to the user. So we create distortions on sight and hearing. So as he steps outside, the sunlight will be too bright and there will be a little bit of oscillation, so it won't be constant. He also will hear a lot of sound, so the sound amplitude is very high, so the sounds are very loud. But at the same time, there are multiple sources of sound coming from different places, and this is all 3D registered, so that there are all these things calling for the attention of the user at the same time. And the user doesn't know where to look at and gets a little bit confusing and very discomfort with the whole situation. And then how does interaction design happen? So we opted to use realistic and natural input techniques. So we used real walking and virtual hand for navigation and manipulation, respectively. Because this is a very relatable experience, we want the people to be able to translate that easily to how it would be in their lives. And then we added some objects that can be used for coping. So for instance, we have headphones with noise cancelling. So as the user puts those headphones on, he will not perceive as much distortion as without the headphones. And the sunglasses to reduce the sun brightness as well. And then finally, we also had the idea of contrasting viewpoints. So while we have our primary user wearing a head-worn display and having this experience in first hand, we also have a secondary monitor where an audience can see him having this experience. And for this audience, we presented these multiple viewpoints. So at some points, you see the first person view from the user with the distortions, but then it alternates between other viewpoints, such as 3D person view from security cameras. We have one inside the living room and also one outside of the character's apartment. And we also have a first view from the taxi driver. So this contrasting is very interesting to see how different things can be in the same situation. So thank you everyone for your attention. Feel free to watch our video with the demonstration, and if you have any questions, I can ask them, and also all our team is around here ready to answer your questions. Thank you.